Guys, welcome to this week's vlog. We're super happy to have you. And again, I'd like to honor you for taking time out of your day to devote towards your personal development. Remember, the most successful and fulfilled people in life, they will work on themselves before they work on anything else. And that's what you're doing right now. And I want to encourage and honor that. And so let's jump right in. Now, today's vlog actually originated out of a quote that the Stoic philosopher Seneca said. So Seneca, he was a philosopher in the ancient Rome, and he was an advisor to Emperor Marcus Aurelius, the emperor under which Rome had its most prosperous time, right? And he said something that I thought was really interesting. We look after our money more than we look after our time. And this got me thinking. What are the most important resources we humans have in order to reach success and fulfillment? Because remember, success without fulfillment is the most ultimate form of failure. And so, if you look through history, if you look through the people that really made it in life, you will find that while money was important, while connections were important, while status, while privilege, while all these things do play a certain role, they are not the most important resources we humans have. Why? Because they are all external, right? Think about it. I'm super sure you know someone in your social circle or someone you've read about that did not have any money, that did not grow up with connections, that did not grow up with privilege, and yet they got successful beyond their wildest dreams. And yet, they were more fulfilled than most people here know. Why is this? Well, it comes down to three main resources. These are the three main resources, or equities as I like to call them, available to man. The first one is time. Each and every one of us has the same amount of time given to us. We all have 24 hours in a day. We all have 7 days in a week. We all have 365 days in a year. The question is, what do we do with this time? As Seneca said, we will guard our money more than we guard our time. Well, guess what? You can make back money. You can never make back time, right? So I would challenge you, look at what you spend your time on a daily basis. Right? Moving on to the next equity. It is energy. Energy is like the fuel, like the coal that we humans run on and live off of. The question is, are we protecting our energy? Are we living a lifestyle such that energy is preserved and energy is generated? Remember, the power plant does not have energy, it generates energy. It's the same with us humans, right? And we like to neglect that. And the third one, I didn't really know this was a thing, but it's super cool. It's called glycogen. Now, glycogen is the sugar that's in our brain. It is the sugar that allows us to make tough and good decisions. And the cool thing about it is there's a finite amount each of us have. I'm sure you've heard of the concept of decision-making fatigue. What that means is basically we just have a certain amount of decisions in a day that we can make at high performance, right? So this is why people like Steve Jobs, people like Mark Zuckerberg, people like Barack Obama, they wore the same thing every day, right? Why? They did not want to use glycogen on something that was not worthy of this very valuable resource. So now that we know the three human equities, the next thing becomes, how do we invest them, right? Resources, it's always a question of how do we invest the resources we have? And there's three main questions I would ask you to ask yourselves. I ask myself these on a regular basis, and since I've been doing so, my life is literally skyrocketed. The first question is what? What do I invest these three equities in? And this is a question of prioritization. Right? So I would challenge you, look through your calendar and check what are you spending time on a daily basis. Check what are you spending energy on a daily basis. And lastly, this is the most important one, what are you spending glycogen on? What decisions are you making that you could automate, delegate, or get rid of? Right? I made another vlog about the importance of understanding the difference between urgency and importance. Right? If you haven't watched that, I'd urge you, please watch it, because most of us, we are guided through our life by what is urgent. But you will also find what is most important in your life, your dreams, your goals, your relationships. They aren't always urgent. So I urge you, look at your prioritization list. The second thing is, how much is a question of effort. The things that really matter to you, which you will find, if you're really honest to yourself, that's a very short list of things. The things that really fundamentally matter to you. How much time, how much energy, and how much glycogen are you giving to them? How much effort are you putting into moving the needle in the things that really matter to you? And here you're going to have to get honest with yourself, because most of us are guided by distraction, right? And I'm preaching to the choir here. It happens to me on a regular basis that I get caught up in distractions that take me away from the things that really help me achieve. So look at how much effort you're putting into the things that really matter to you. And finally, it's a question of persistence. How long are you willing to put these three resources into what is really important to you, right? Malcolm Gladwell, he said it takes 10,000 hours to become a master at something. 10,000 hours. If you would do that on an average of 3 hours a day, it would take you about 9 years to become a master. That's a lot of time and a lot of repetition, because repetition, as Jim Rohn said, is the mother of skill. So ask yourself, are there things that you should have been more persistent with? Are there things that you should be more persistent with now, in terms of how much time you put into something, what you put time in? Ask yourself these questions. I know these aren't easy questions, but I promise you, do this on a regular basis, and you're going to go to places, honestly, that you did not know were possible. So that's the end of this week's vlog. I hope you really enjoyed it, and I'll see you next week. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.